Of course, on the construction of a new terminal, I was about to say you could take advantage of some of the dollars that would be expended to build a new terminal, instead utilize those as incentives. But obviously a lot of those dollars are for fixed construction, whether it's $43 million from Congress or $15 million from the governor trying to tap the state for that. Those are really dollars that would be allocated to construction, wherein if there was some way to get a pool together to help offer incentives to the airlines to really cut some of those costs for them, whether it's taking the fuel from the tank farm over to the liner themselves, or are there ways to try to get around that?
Well, that's exactly right. There are, because there are perhaps revenue sharing streams that could be developed. Mm-hmm. Just the one that you gave as an example. The terminal revenue concession fees, another example, because when we all travel, we usually stop and spend some dollars in one of the shops along the way. And so there are revenues that are gained from that as well. There are also revenues that can't be used necessarily for an incentive program, but that the airport does benefit from each enplanement that occurs. Mm-hmm. For example, there's a passenger facility charge, and that's a $4.50 charge for everyone that enplanes in Myrtle Beach. $4.39 of that goes to the airport. It is used for construction, so therefore it's a capital fund. Mm-hmm. So if we had 750,000 enplanements this past year, then that meant that was approximately about $3.6 million.
That $4 adds up.
It does. It adds up, and that can be used for capital projects. And there's another fund like that, the contract facility charge, the CFCs at $4 a day. That too can be used for construction for capital projects at the airport. Mm-hmm. But there are other funds, other revenues that go into the airport that perhaps could be used for incentives to help keep the cost of the airlines down. Mm-hmm. And that's a critical component.
Of course, folks talk about airports. Obviously, this is such a big debate in the county. The debate right now is not whether or not it should happen at all. It's where it happens or when it happens. Obviously, the recognition is, we think about communities like Orlando. The airport there, I guess, is not right in the heart of Orlando. It's a good drive from anywhere, albeit folks who are flying to Orlando, as you know, are flying there for one reason or for many reasons, golf or for Disney or otherwise, and they don't mind how far they got to drive when they get there.
Just landed in Orlando in a private plane that was with Steve Hodges, that unfortunately passed away about 6 months ago, and was co-piloting a plane with him. We landed on 180 right, and it's a dual runway, 180 left and 180 right. Mm-hmm. That is one of the things that needs to be considered for Myrtle Beach in terms of long-term planning, is a dual runway, 2 runways.
Right.
And Greg, it's not necessarily the fact that the air traffic will build up to use 2 runways. It's simply for the fact that when an airliner takes off from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, it can land in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Mm-hmm. With 1 runway, like this past spring, when that runway was fouled for about 6 hours with a cargo plane, our airport was shut down.
Wow.
So when I have golfers coming in on an airliner, but they can't fly to Myrtle Beach because our airport is shut down. Mm-hmm. Myrtle Beach takes the rap. It's not the airline, but Myrtle Beach takes the rap. Mm-hmm. In terms of the long-term planning, and I know it's a political issue with the existing airport of where it's at, 2 runways is critical, and especially if you look at the international market. For us to grow in the international market, in the international golf market, and that is a great opportunity for us.
Oh, yeah.
We need the 2 runways, mainly because whenever the airliner coming across the pond, they want to make sure that they're going to be able to land in Myrtle Beach. And with 1 runway, that might not happen. Right. And it then becomes a logistical nightmare to the airline to try to get the people back, get the airliner back on its international schedule. So without 2 runways, essentially, it can disrupt the national air system and international air system.
That is a tremendous point. I bet that's one a lot of folks hadn't considered. If someone's flying across the Atlantic Ocean, get here and one of our runways is shut down for some crazy reason, we're really stranded.
We're stranded.
Yeah, because we only have that 1 runway.
We
That's
don't
a
have
great
the run
point.
one. And it also hurts us being competitive. For example, Charleston has 2 runways. So if an airliner is considered coming into South Carolina, they look at Myrtle Beach with only 1 runway, Charleston with 2, then perhaps we lose out whenever they consider that element of being able to land, and whereas the uncertainty of being able to land it in Myrtle Beach. But it's not necessarily because of the volume of air traffic. It's just simply for that airliner to be able to take off and to land. And you have to do maintenance on runways. So naturally, with one runway, you're limited on the time when you can do the maintenance.
Those are powerful issues, Mickey. Probably something a lot of folks hadn't thought about. And not to divert from that much, because as we talked about earlier, there's just not been a common, unified voice.
There has
Speaking
not
about
been.
the airport issue, you are, or Golf Holiday is, a common, unified voice for golf. For the most part, I guess you don't represent every golf course, but almost every golf course.
We represent 81 of the golf courses out of the 99. And those are all the golf courses that are really in the golf tourism business.
Right.
So we represent all of those golf.
You really do help speak for the industry there. As it relates to the airport issue, it's a little less.
And it's a very critical, important element to us because, again, 50% of the golfers that we bring in here fly. And so it's very important for us to be able to expand, to go out and bring in new airlines. This past year, we were down 105,000 seats. If I'd filled 50% of those with golfers, the economic impact in Myrtle Beach would have been $70 million.
Wow.
And we would have generated an additional $7 million in taxes for this area. So it's critically important that we make sure that we bring airliners in here and that we treat them as customers, just from the standpoint of the airport having the welcome mat out, the porch light on, and welcome them and make sure we're treating them right.
Absolutely. Mickey, I think some folks probably need to get off to work or out to school right now. The facts and figures, those basic facts and figures of the golf industry here on the Strand.
The golf for 2006, we did slightly under 4 million rounds of golf. We're down about 3%. But the average round per golf course was up 6.5%, over 42,000 rounds per golf course. It's the highest it's been in 8 years, Greg. And that's good news for those golf courses who've chosen to stay in the business.
But $1 billion annual economic impact.
The economic impact is $1 billion, and we generate about $100 million in taxes.
It's tremendous.
So it's critically important to our economy.
It
Golf
really
has so many tentacles. It goes all the way, not from the golf course to the local restaurants, to the 7-Eleven stores, to the gasoline, to the stations, to the shopping. It has a lot of tentacles that the community benefits from.
Very definitely, Mickey. You think about that. A lot of folks wonder about how Golf Holiday was founded, what prompted that. And I think it's pretty obvious now when you think about it. Clearly, the reason it got going, because there's truly a need. And of course, you've got some hoteliers that are also members of Golf Holiday.
We surely do. It was built as a shoulder season business to the beach. The beach is still the main reason that tourists come here. But then after September, traffic signals were deactivated. They were reactivated the following May. And all of that investment just stood, set, earning no return. Everything was shut down. And the business leaders came together and felt that golf would be a good shoulder season business. It would complement the accommodations business. And sure enough, the accommodations and the golf courses to form the golf package, it's been a great partnership that has worked since 1967.
Absolutely, and y'all are a nonprofit cooperative there. So, if there's interest from locals, if they couldn't be an actual member, but as you say, if they want to volunteer, even donate funds to help get the word out.
Sure, we are a nonprofit, and every penny that we earn, that we get sponsorships, whether it be government grants, whatever the source is, dues from members, we invest back into marketing with the idea of turning those dollars over. So our budget is $9 million, but the economic impact that $9 million makes is almost $1 billion and generates $100 million in taxes. So it's quite a return to the community.
A $9 million annual budget. Of course, recently y'all have had isn't there some special strategies that are going on, a partnership with the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce?
We work extremely close with the Chamber. One of the things that we don't want to do is to duplicate. Right. Research being an example, where there are joint things that we can do together that we both benefit from, advertising the airlines, marketing the airlines. So we work very closely together with the chamber staff and the golf holiday staff to make sure that there isn't duplication of the effort, because after all, our goal is the same, to bring tourist golfers here. And certainly during the summer months, while I know they're here primarily for the beach, we hope that they won't forget their golf clubs and they'll play a round of golf.
Absolutely. And you all have a new website, is that right, Mickey?
We're in the process of redesigning our website.
Right.
We will be upgrading our website here in 2007, and that came out of a new funding mechanism that we have for Golf Holiday that's based on rounds of golf instead of holes of golf or rooms on the accommodation side, but it's now based upon rounds of golf. And we combine that new funding structure with state matching money, and we've been able to have an additional $2 million, approximately $2 million, to market Myrtle Beach golf this year, and that's increased our budget to $9 million.
That is tremendous. It's still golfholiday.com, though.
Golfholiday.com, it is.
Very simple, very simple. We just got a minute, Mickey. When you're thinking about some of the new challenges in the golf marketing business, you all are faced constantly with folks like Orlando, Phoenix, Palm Springs, and others throughout the country that are constantly thinking of themselves and getting dollars from multiple sources to bring people in. What's the biggest challenge you all face going forward?
Greg, it's always funding. Just having enough money to go out and to market golf and to reach internationally, to even go, I'd love to reach network television, but to take that big step, that global step, to even go further in marketing. And it always comes down to the ability to have the dollars to do that. So it comes really down to having money. And as the state is changing their structure and their thoughts on tourism, with the awareness of the importance of Myrtle Beach and the tourism industry to the state, there's more dollars that are going to become available, and we'll be right there at the table when they're ready to tell us what the requirements are to get those dollars.
That's great. That's great. Very exciting. Mickey, thanks
you,
so much
Greg.
for coming in this morning,
Thank
early
you.
on. Absolutely. Get back to your workout. That's
Good
right.
to be here this morning, Greg.
Thank you. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Mickey McCamish coming up next.
Join the fight against heart disease and stroke as Understanding Corporation presents the 13th Annual Waccamaw Area Heart Ball. It's a sparkling black tie gala that features a reception, live and silent auction, and gourmet dining. Then, dance the night away with entertainment by Jumpstart. It all takes place on Saturday, February 17th in the Kensington Ballroom at Kingston Plantation. Call now to reserve your seat at the 13th Annual Waccamaw Area Heart Ball.
You know, we didn't get to talk about Mickey receiving the state's highest civilian volunteer award, but we did get the opportunity to talk about the need to have a unified voice, not only for golf, like Golf Holiday, but for issues like the airport, for issues like the I-73, for issues like a convention center or a trade center, big issues. These are all major issues. Fortunately, we've got a group as strong as Myrtle Beach Golf Holiday. We didn't get to talk to Mickey about his wife, Carol, and his 2 kids and where they are. It was fascinating hearing him talk about his daughter off camera. But we did get to talk about the updating of their website, golfholiday.com, and you heard him talk about call his phone number. He wants folks to know they can always come in and volunteer. Any great ideas, lots of folks coming together to spark ideas on how to bring more folks in. You know, a $9 million budget of which 90% is used almost entirely for marketing. That can go a long way. But it's not necessarily as far as those dollars that are being used, 50, 40, $80 million in other markets. We still have a long way to go. We've got to come up with creative ideas, and Golf Holiday, day after day, is coming up just with those. Check them out online at golfholiday.com.